the transporter room, stand by.
Sensor reading, Captain.
Energize.
Mr. Spock, where are you?
Fascinating.
Star Trek, like you've never seen it before. Digitally remastered. Footage you haven't seen on television in 30 years. Interviews with the cast and crew. Star Trek, the Sci-Fi Channel Special Edition. Coming up next.
Stand by to beam aboard.
Gene Coon strikes again. I gotta tell you, I love Gene Coon, and I respected him. And although he was no longer associate producer for Star Trek's second season, he continued to write his incredibly layered and wonderfully conceived teleplays. Metamorphosis is hailed as one of the series' more perceptive episodes. As in The Devil in the Dark, the script's core was man's intolerance of those different from him. The Enterprise crew is marooned on a planet with Zephram Cochrane, the illustrious scientist who discovered warp drive 100 years before. With him is a creature called the Companion. We're about to learn something intriguing about the relationship between two very different beings. In this episode, Zephram Cochrane is played by the actor Glenn Corbett, who also appeared in such science fiction classics as Night Gallery and Land of the Giants. Corbett put the appropriate spin on the Cochrane character, who was seemingly alienated from his fellow humans and then became strengthened by the power of love. Interestingly, the character of Zephram Cochrane would reappear in the 1996 feature film Star Trek First Contact, except this time he would be played by actor James Cromwell.
Mr. Cochrane, do you have a first name?
Zephram.
Zephram Cochrane? The discoverer of the space warp?
That's right, Captain.
But that's impossible. Zephram Cochrane died 150 years ago.
In 1992, the Smithsonian decided that it was going to have a huge exhibition called Star Trek: The Exhibition. Now, the Smithsonian is our museum that tells us the history of American aviation. So why would the Smithsonian be doing a Star Trek show? You know, it's the fiction version of going into space. It's not about NASA.
Captain.
Yeah.
Will you check your automatic scanner, please?
That's odd. I've never seen anything like that before.
Nor have I.
The curator said the reason we're doing this show is because there's no other metaphor for going into space and for scientific exploration in space that is stronger than that of Star Trek. So Star Trek deserves a place in the history of Americans going into space. So I think that in our minds, the way we've been able to think about NASA and stay interested in NASA and support NASA, in other words, support real space exploration, is actually through the fabric of this fictional story of going into space that has so attracted us through its characters, its storylines, its issues.
Most unusual. Unlikely. In fact, Captain, I would say quite impossible.
Nothing wrong and nothing works.
Precisely.
There must be a reason.
Obviously.
Let's look a little further.
The interesting thing about Star Trek is that it defied all boundaries, all geographic boundaries, all racial boundaries. It came in, you know, at a time where it seemed like we weren't really ready for this kind of stuff, but quite interestingly, we were. And I think there was a safety to being able to do this in the future.
I was sent to Epsilon Canaris 3 to prevent a war, Doctor. Thanks to the inefficiency of the medical branch of the Starfleet, I've been forced to leave before my job was done.
And here was Star Trek, before we went to the moon, showing us the way, showing us with a very positive, beautiful, intelligent projection of what humankind can really be, who we really are, that we are better than we think we are.
I don't want it killed. We may simply render it powerless.
But you don't know. You could kill it. I won't stand for that, Kirk.
We're getting out of here, Cochrane. Face up to it. I'll do anything I have to save all of our lives. Sensor readings, Mr. Spark.
Vaguely like a cloud of ionized hydrogen, but with strong, erratic electrical impulse.
It was an important show. It carried things of great import for the people in this country primarily, and then later on elsewhere. Star Trek was what I would call a grand adventure. It was very romantic.
I don't understand.
You don't? Well, a blind man could see it with a cane. You're not a pet. You're not a specimen kept in a cage. You're a lover.
I do not totally understand the emotion, but it obviously exists. The companion loves you.
Here was a quest to go out and seek other lives, other worlds, other people, other beings that we never knew existed before, or we never knew that might exist.
What do you make of that?
Almost symbiosis of some kind. Sort of joining.
Exactly what I think.
So it was an enormous quest, and it carried within it, the way we wrote the show, a moral edge.
Is this what the future holds? Men who have no notion of decency or morality? Well, maybe I'm 150 years out of style, but I'm not going to be fodder for any inhuman monster.
You have to understand that the space program began its first full steps in the 60s. And in part, we were touching on that because we were saying, hey, we can do this. We can get into space. We can look further than man has gone. We can reach out beyond our own planet and go other places.
What's it like out there in the galaxy?
We're on 1,000 planets and spreading out. We cross fantastic distances, and everything's alive, Cochrane. Life everywhere. We estimate there are millions of planets with intelligent life.
And I think that sense of forward-looking is still with this country, particularly, but I think it's still with Earth, with the human species.
It's all out there waiting for you. But we'll need your help to get away.
You've got it.
We're seeing farther, we're reaching farther. We're still trying to exceed our grasp. Your reach must always exceed your grasp. And we're still trying to do that as a race.
It is wrong to keep us here against our will.
The man needs the company of his own kind, or he will cease to exist. He felt it to me.
And I think that, again, still speaks to people. We are still reaching out, looking for other signs of life in the universe, other beings, maybe not like ourselves, but someone else out there. We're not alone. And I just really think that that speaks to people in their hearts.
Companion, try to understand. It is the nature of our species to be free, just as it is your nature to stay here. We will cease to exist in captivity.
The relationship in Metamorphosis gives new shape to romantic entanglement. When Cochrane finds out that the companion is female and is in love with him, his initial reaction is one of distaste. Cochrane cannot welcome her affections until she takes a more recognizable shape, the human form. Ironically, it's a Star Trek twist. Here, it's the alien who knows about love, and it's the human who has yet to learn.